Hello everybody, Inter back again with another video to speak about this US Open Final 2019 between Rafael Nadal and Daniel Medvedev. What an epic battle, guys, we had in this final. I never thought that Daniel Medvedev would push Rafael Nadal this hard, this brutal, and really will give him a run for his money. And oh my dear God, he did. He really did. Who in the world believed that Daniel Medvedev would do that kind of comeback, even though that he didn't win the match, but he pushed Rafa after Daniel Medvedev was down 2-0 and a break. I for sure didn't believe that. Even him himself didn't believe that, because he said after the match that I was already thinking about the speech when I was down 2-0 and a break in the third set. What can we say about this final, my friends? Rafa Nadal was the better player in the end of the day. Of course, he was the player who won 3 sets. Rafa did a good match, I believe, like Rafa always do. Rafa did a superb match in the end of the day. The only thing that I can say about Rafa that he was not at his absolute best was his serve percentage. He only landed 58 first% of first service in, 58, and Rafa usually is over 60 to 65. He usually is in that stat, but in this final he was landing only 58% of first serves in, but he won 77% of those first serves. Even though he landed 58% of the first serves, he won 77% of those first serves. So that was a good stat, or winning so much first serves, even though you are not landing so many first serves. And but Rafa was getting hurt on the second serves. He was winning only 52% of the second service, 52%. So, and to compare that with Daniel Medvedev, who was winning 54% first serves in, he was winning 54% of his second services. And you know what they say, guys? You only serve. Your service as good as your second service. That's what we say in tennis. So all in all, it was a great performance from Rafa Nadal. Really, he was not facing a easy dude in this match. He was facing a player who was in his best shape of his life, who has been really consistent on this North American hardcourt swing, who was playing his 4th straight North American final, like we all know. So Rafa, he was not having an easy time to defeat a player like Daniel Medvedev, who has really been showing tremendous good form this summer, and who really has been, who is the player who has won most matches in 2019. I believe Daniel Medvedev has won 50 matches, most of all players in the whole world. So Rafa Nadal was having a huge challenge ahead of him, but the champion, the great champion that Rafa is, he succeeded this challenge with big success and won his 19th Grand Slam title. Rafa, he really did a good match. He striked 62 winners and he only did 46 unforced errors. So, and you know what we say in tennis, 46 unforced errors is a lot of Rafa standards if you compare that with Matteo Berrettini, where Rafa only did 18 unforced errors. But Daniel Medvedev is a total kind of player. He will always force you to do more unforced errors because he is a walking wall. It is not easy to hit through him. So he is of course a better player than Matteo Berrettini. So Rafa will of course do much more unforced errors, a player like Daniel Medvedev than a player like Matteo Berrettini. But the important thing here is that Rafa Nadal struck 62 winners, and when you do more winners than unforced errors, then you will of course always be successful, and you will of course always have big chances to win the matches. Rafa is striking 16 more winners than he's striking unforced errors. 16 more winners, if I'm not counting wrong in my head, if my math is correct. So to strike 16 more winners than doing unforced errors, then you will always be successful, and then you will always have chances to win. And not like, for example, when Roger lost to Grigor Dimitrov in the quarterfinals, Roger did 61 unforced errors and did 40 winners only. Roger made 21 more unforced errors, and in that way you will always be in trouble, and you will always have and you will most probably always will lose, at least when you do 20 more unforced errors than what you're doing winners. So Rafa did 16 more winners than unforced errors in this match, and then of course he will most likely will be the winner, which he was in the end. So the difference in this match, my friends, was what I saw was the net approaches. These two players are really baseline grinders. For the moment, they are the best baseline players in the world. Somebody of you can say, but Djokovic is a better baseline player than Medvedev. Yeah, he is in general, but not for the moment. Because it is Medvedev who has played 4 straight hardcourt finals and not Novak Djokovic. So, and these players has so much tremendous respect for each other baseline game, so they really approached the net. They have never approached the net in this year's US Open like they both did in this US Open final. I believe that Rafa Nadal approached the net 51 times and Daniel Medvedev approached the net 50 times. So together they approached the net 101 times together. So that is a lot. And that shows us, that proves to us that they both had tremendous respect for their baseline games. And Rafa won 77% of his net approaches. That is a lot. 77% of his net approaches. Because we all know that Rafa is a really good net player. He doesn't go to the net a lot, but when he does it with big success. And he was successful in this final at the net, in my opinion. 77% winning on net approaches is a great number, in my opinion. So, and Daniel Medvedev, what was his stats? Rafa did only 5 aces in this match. That is not a lot. Rafa didn't have any great match when it comes to serving. He didn't do a lot of aces. Not that aces has been Rafa's huge weapon in his career, but he usually does more than 5 aces when a match goes to 5 sets like this one. But he did only 5 aces in this match and did 5 double faults as well, all in all. So that was Rafa's stats. All in all, and Daniel Medvedev's stats. How was his stats? He did 14 aces and he did only 4 double faults. That is great number in my opinion, especially considering that Daniel Medvedev he sometimes can go big with his second serve as well. So 14 aces, 4 double faults. Daniel Medvedev, he was landing 64% first serves in, he was landing more first serves in than Rafa Nadal, but he was not winning more than Rafa Nadal. He was winning only 64% of those first serves in, only 64%. He was landing 65% he was landing 64% first serves in, but he was winning only 65% of those. Only 65. So Rafa clearly much better in that stat than Daniel Medvedev. And the second service percent won was better from Daniel Medvedev. He was winning 54% of second service, and Rafa was winning only 52. So in that stat, Daniel was better, and Daniel striked 75 winners. That is a lot, my friends. 75 winners he striked. That is a lot. 75% he was striking winners, and he was doing 57 unforced errors. 57. So that is a lot of unforced errors, but he was still plus on that stat. He was not doing more unforced errors than winners, but he was doing more winners. 18 more winners he did. 18 more winners than unforced errors. Rafa did 16 more winners than unforced errors. Daniel Medvedev was doing 18 more winners, but he lost the match anyway because Rafa in the end was the more consistent player. In the end, he braked Daniel Medvedev's serve more times. I believe that Rafa braked 6 times Daniel Medvedev's serve. Rafa was he braked 6 times out of 21 opportunities. So that he braked one more time than Daniel Medvedev. I believe that Daniel Medvedev braked 5 times. Daniel Medvedev braked 5 out of 15 break point opportunities. So Rafa was on breakpoint conversion 29% on breakpoint conversion because he had more breakpoints opportunities than Daniel Medvedev, and in all his breakpoint conversion landed in 29%, and Daniel Medvedev, he was on breakpoint conversions 33% because he had less breakpoint opportunities. He had 15 breakpoint opportunities, 15 breakpoint opportunities, and he braked 5 times. So in all, Rafa braked only one more time than Daniel Medvedev, and the score all in all was 7-5 to Rafa Nadal, 6-3. Then Daniel Medvedev won the third set 7-5, the fourth set 6-4, and then the decider fifth set Rafa Nadal won 6-4. Rafa was up 5-2 in that fifth set, but Daniel Medvedev, he did a comeback in that fifth set. Last comeback, he braked Rafa's serve for the 5th time in that 5th set, and then he held his serve, and then Rafa eventually he served out the final, and he won his 19th Grand Slam title 6-4. All in all, Rafa won 177 points and Daniel Medvedev won 164 points. So Rafa won 13 more points than Daniel Medvedev. So Rafa was clearly a better player than Daniel Medvedev. Not maybe with much, but with enough. But I am surprised that how much Daniel Medvedev pushed Rafa Nadal, because in my opinion Rafa Nadal is a much better player than Daniel Medvedev. He is more consistent player than Daniel Medvedev. He is more talented player than Daniel Medvedev. He has more firepower in his shots than Daniel Medvedev. He has more weapons than Daniel Medvedev, especially one weapon who is the best weapon on the court and who was the best weapon on the court in this final, and that was Rafa's forehand. And I even said it in my preview that I think that Rafa will do a big damage with his forehand, and which he did, in my opinion. He did big damage because Rafa's forehand is much better than Daniel Medvedev's forehand. But Daniel Medvedev is a clean ball striker. Daniel Medvedev is a super machine from a baseline, and he hanged in there. He hanged in there. In the first couple of sets, Daniel Medvedev couldn't do much. He was doing too much unforced errors. But then, from the third set and further, Daniel Medvedev he kept down his unforced errors, and he was striking more winners, and he was approaching the net much more from the third set and forward, because he could feel it that he cannot take Rafa Nadal from the baseline. He can challenge him, he can maybe take him one set or two, but he will not win the match by challenging Rafa Nadal from the first point to the last point. And he was approaching the net much more from the second set and forward, and he did that with a lot of success. Daniel Medvedev, Rafa won 77% of the net approaches, and Daniel Medvedev, I believe he won, if I'm not mistaken, 68% of his net approaches, 68%. So that is a good stat as well. 68% to win, especially against a player like Rafa Nadal, who is a superb who does superb passing shots. Rafa Nadal and Novak Djokovic are the two best players of all time, in my opinion, of doing passing shots when players attack them to the net. So, and Daniil Medvedev, he was really great in that stat. 68% he won of the net approaches. That is great. All in all, it was a great performance from Daniil Medvedev. Really, he really pushed Rafa Nadal. I never believed that he will push Rafa Nadal in this way. I believe that Rafa will win this match in straight sets. I said it in my preview. But Daniil Medvedev, he pushed Rafa Nadal. Rafa Nadal maybe should have won this match in straight sets because he was a break up in that third set. But Daniil Medvedev, he was hanging on there. He was fighting. He said it after the match. When I heard all those crowd cheering on me, I just really wanted to give them a fight. I didn't want to lose in straight sets, and he didn't. But my impression was that I never really believed that Daniil Medvedev would win this match, even when he leveled the match 2-2. I was speaking with a friend of mine who is a huge Rafa fan. He was so nervous. He said that I've never seen this Russian play this good. But I said, you can be calm. Rafa will not lose this match. He is too consistent. He's too solid. He will do less unforced errors, and which he in the end did. He will be the more solid one, and which he in the end was. Daniil Medvedev, he was fighting like a lion, but he's not a bigger fighter than Rafa Nadal. Nobody is. Have we ever seen a bigger fighter than Rafa Nadal in this history of this sport? Never. Some of you maybe believe that Djokovic is a bigger fighter. I am not really. In my opinion, Rafa is a bigger fighter than Djokovic. Not maybe with much, but at least with little. For me, Rafa Nadal is the greatest competitor that I have ever seen. Not only in tennis, but in all sport in general. And he showed that in this match. He showed that in this match. He led 2-0 to love. He was a break up in the third set. Daniil Medvedev did a tremendous comeback to level the match 2-2. Daniil Medvedev has had 3 breakpoint opportunities in that fifth set. When he hold his serve 1-0 in that fifth set and then had 3 breakpoint opportunities, Rafa was saving them. Then Rafa was 5-2 in the fifth set. Daniil Medvedev did his last comeback 5-4. And then Rafa, when he was serving for the match, Daniil Medvedev had one last breakpoint opportunity to level the match 5-5. But Rafa Nadal, the fighter, the beast that he is, he saved that last breakpoint opportunity from Daniil Medvedev, and in the end sealed the victory 6-4. Many players maybe would have gone down mentally in that last game of the match, but not Rafa Nadal. He's such a fighter. He's such a beast. Like I said in my preview, my friends, to beat Rafa Nadal, you have to do your match of your life. And Daniil Medvedev, he almost did his match of his life. He really did. I have never seen Daniil Medvedev play such a great match in a Grand Slam match. Outside Grand Slams, maybe I've seen that before. But in a Grand Slam match, in a final, I have never seen Daniil Medvedev play this great of a tennis. He really was a walking wall. He was a running wall. Rafa Nadal had troubles to hit through him. But in the end, he did that. That's how Daniil Medvedev wins his matches, by wearing his opponents down. And he wore Rafa Nadal down in 2 sets, the third and the fourth set. But not the other 3 sets, not the first and second and the fifth set. In the end of the day, Rafa Nadal defeated Daniil Medvedev. He gave Daniil Medvedev his own medicine. Because if Daniil Medvedev is a super great grinder, he is not a bigger grinder than Rafa Nadal. So, in a couple of minutes in that fifth set, in that beginning of fifth set, I started believing with myself, will Rafa Nadal lose his second ever match in a Grand Slam when he has been 2-0 up in the lead? Because the first and the first and only time that I've seen Rafa Nadal lose a Grand Slam match when he has been 2-0 up in the lead was against Fabio Fognini in that 2015 third round, 4 years ago. And I was thinking with myself, will this be the second ever time that when Rafa Nadal will do this and lose a Grand Slam match when he has been 2-0 up? I thought, no, I don't think it will happen. No, I just don't think. I have so much tremendous confidence in this beast, Rafa Nadal, because, like I've said so many times before, my friends, and I will say it again, He will never beat himself, Rafael Nadal. He really will never. I truly believe that Daniel Medvedev, how great he played this match today. I have never seen Daniel Medvedev play this great tennis, at least not in Grand Slams. He would have defeated all the players in the world in this final. All the players, inclusive Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic. But he just couldn't defeat Rafael Nadal. He just couldn't defeat Rafael Nadal. Why? Because Rafael Nadal is the most consistent tennis beast that we have ever seen. He will not go down, my friends. He just will not. Because he is there all the time. He will not go away. He will not go away. He did go away from 2 sets, the third and fourth sets, but he will jump back at you like a lion that he is. And he did in that 5th set when he took the lead 5-2. I knew it. I knew it. When they went into a 5th set, I just knew it. I just said to my friend, who is a big, huge Rafael Nadal fan and who was so nervous, I said, be calm. Be calm. He will not lose. He will not lose. If it had been Novak Djokovic, maybe Rafa would have lost. Yeah. Then I would have had more belief that Rafa would have lost that 5th set, because we all know that Novak Djokovic, he is a beast as well, especially when the matches comes close. But I just didn't have that belief in Daniel Medvedev. All the respect, all the credit to Daniel Medvedev. He has done a tremendous tournament. He has done a tremendous North American hardcourt swing with 4 straight finals. But to beat Rafa Nadal in a Grand Slam final, when Rafa has been 2-0 up in the lead and a break in the 3rd set, you must be named Novak Djokovic and maybe Roger Federer. Not even Roger Federer. Even Roger Federer, I would not have the belief that you could do that. When Roger did that tremendous comeback in that Wimbledon final 2008, when Rafa was 2-0 up, I never believed that Roger Federer would defeat Rafa Nadal in that 5th set. I really never did that. And the only player who can do this, it is maybe Novak Djokovic, to come back from 2-0 down against Rafa Nadal. The only player who maybe can do this is maybe Novak Djokovic. But no players had ever done it before besides Fabio Fognini, like I said, in that 2015 US Open. So I still had a tremendous confidence and tremendous belief that Rafa Nadal will win this match in the end. Even though Daniel Medvedev was pushing, was hitting, and was attacking Rafa Nadal, he was doing everything, he was throwing everything at the Super Spaniard. But I just knew that in the end of the day, Rafa will be too solid, Rafa will be too consistent, Rafa will be too good, and that was the case in the end. But all respect to Daniel Medvedev, he really pushed Rafa Nadal. He did much more than I ever believed. I never believed that he will push Rafa Nadal this much. I really didn't. And Daniel Medvedev, I believe, I really criticized Daniel Medvedev big times after that Montreal final 4 or 5 weeks ago, when Rafa totally, completely destroyed Daniel Medvedev 6-3, 6-0. And I said 4 or 5 weeks ago that Daniel Medvedev will never win a Grand Slam match, a Grand Slam title, as long as Nadal, Federer and Djokovic is playing still tennis. But what I saw about Daniel Medvedev in this US Open final, I really believe that he can win a Grand Slam title before this big 3 retires. I really believe that. He has defeated Novak Djokovic several times this year. He has never defeated Roger Federer. He has never defeated Rafa Nadal. But he will do that in the future, because Daniel Medvedev is only 23 years old. Rafa Nadal is 33, Roger Federer is 38, Novak Djokovic is 32, and Novak is already beating outside Grand Slams. And I believe that he will start beating Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer as well in the future. I believe, at least outside Grand Slams, at least. But even on the Grand Slams, especially Federer, it is only a matter of time before he starts beating. I really believe that. Congratulations to Rafa Nadal for his 19th Grand Slam title, for his 84th title overall in his career. And this is a big proof for all the people out there who says that Rafa Nadal is only a clay court specialist. Stop with that, my friends. Really stop it. He played his 15th Grand Slam final outside French Open. He has played 5 Russell Open finals, 5 Wimbledon finals, and now 5 US Open finals, and he has won 7 Grand Slam titles outside French Open. Yeah, I know he has not won as many Grand Slam titles outside French Open as Federer and Djokovic, but you cannot say a player like Rafa Nadal, who played his 15th Grand Slam final outside French Open and who won his 7th Grand Slam title outside French Open, that he's only a clay court specialist. Just give me the break. Just stop it, because it is ridiculous. And I think that Rafa Nadal, when these big 3 will retire, I think that he will be the player who will end with most Grand Slams. I really believe that. Considering how great he is on French Open, he is not even close to losing French Open, and considering how good he is outside French Open as well, he has played 3 Grand Slam finals this year. Australian Open, French Open, and US Open. The only Grand Slam final that he has not played this year, that was in Wimbledon, and it took a superb performance from Roger Federer to stop him there. So, big congratulations to Rafa Nadal, to his 19th Grand Slam title, to his 84th Grand Slam, to his 84th tennis title overall, and it will definitely not be his last either. Mark my words. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care and bye bye.